Today I'm going to be reviewing a new release from Thomas Nelson. This is the New King James Version, Spurgeon and the Gospels with devotions from Charles Spurgeon. So I have the black leather soft. There's also a brown leather soft as well. I can't remember if there's a hardcover. I don't think there is. I think it's either the brown or the black leather soft for this one. So it says, these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that believing may have... let's try that again. And that believing you may have life in his name. John 20:31. I get so excited when I'm doing these reviews. I feel like I'm tripping over my words sometimes, so apologies for that. Nothing was more important to Charles Spurgeon than the gospel. It was the passion that drove his life. Let his passion ignite your own with Spurgeon and the Gospels. This devotional edition of the Gospels features a brief extract from Spurgeon's sermons and collected works leading into each chapter of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Filled with deep insights, it will be a timeless classic that engages readers for years to come. So the features in this one are devotional thoughts from Charles Spurgeon for each chapter of the Gospels, an exquisite edition of the Gospels in the trusted and familiar New King James Version translation, space provided to journal your own meditations, and this is going to have a 9.5 size font in the New King James Version comfort print. All right, so this is going to come in a little sleeve here. I'll try to slide it out without shaking the table too much. Maybe. There we go. So first impressions of this, I love the blue ribbon with the black cover and the gold gilding. It reminds me of my McLaren thin line that I have. I love that color scheme. You're going to have a cross here on the front with the crown of thorns around it. And then the spine has Spurgeon and the Gospels, New King James Version. Nice and thin because it is the New Testament, but it is only the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. It does have perimeter stitching as well. I didn't mention that. And this imitation leather feels pretty nice. I like the grain pattern. Feels like it'll hold up here. We're going to have a beautiful paste down liner. We're going to have a presentation page. Table of contents, which there's not a lot in this one. There's not a lot of extra features. It's just a nice little thin New Testament, which I like because sometimes you just want to carry a smaller, thinner Bible around. It's not like a teeny tiny compact, but it's pretty small that you'd be able to fit it in a purse and take it on the go. All right, so we have a preface to the New King James Version. We have an introduction telling us a little more about the Bible and Charles Spurgeon as well. And we're going to get into Matthew. All right, so at the beginning of each book, you're going to have devotional thoughts from Charles Spurgeon. Actually, not the beginning of each book. Let's revise that to the beginning of each chapter. So it's not just at the beginning of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It's every single chapter has a couple paragraphs of devotional thoughts from Charles Spurgeon, which is very nice. It is going to be verse by verse, and we're going to have this blue color for the verse numbers. Okay, so here's Matthew 2. Again, you're going to get the devotional thoughts, and then you're going to get the chapter itself from Scripture. Some cross-references here at the bottom of the page. There is, at the end of a chapter, there'll sometimes be almost a whole blank page. So if you wanted to take some notes, you could definitely do that. But just a really nice addition if you're doing a read-through of the Gospels. If you want to use this for devotional times, then you could do a chapter a day, read the little, 2-paragraph devotional, and then read the chapter for the day. It wouldn't take you very long. There's a nice size page margin as well, so you could definitely take notes there or do some artwork if that's what you like to do. I haven't tried it yet, but this paper feels like it would hold up very well to highlighters. It feels thicker than a lot of my other Bible paper. So I would definitely have a tester page before you start using anything, but I feel like this would definitely hold up the highlighters very well. So if you wanted to go through the Gospels and take some note, like little note-taker Bible, this would be a great one to do that in. Because it's also really inexpensive too, because it is just the Gospels compared to some other Bibles you see. So that would be good as well. It's looking like when I'm holding it up that it's going into the gutter. It's not as bad as it looks. When you lay it flat, I just got this, so it's not going to lay totally flat yet, like it's going to close up. right now, but I also like have used this for like 2 or 3 days. So it's going to take some time. It'll break in a little better as you keep using it, and then it won't look like it's going into the gutter because there is some space in there. Not as much as out here, obviously, but there is some space in there. So just keep that in mind that it is new. So it's going to do that a little bit at first. But yeah, this would make a really great gift as well as we're heading into the holiday season here. Great for a little read through. Even if, you, like I said, you want to do 1 chapter a day, you know, that would be, it wouldn't take a ton of time, but it would you'd still get, you know, some time in the Word. I don't think there's much at the end here. It's just, this is mostly just going to be a beautiful little New Testament with devotional thoughts from Charles Spurgeon at the beginning of each chapter, which I love. I love that there's that many, that you can do a chapter at a time and have those thoughts for each one. All right, we're almost at the end here. Okay, so we're going to have a bibliography, an index by book and chapter. I believe that's it. Let me just make sure. Yeah, and then back here, there's some tester pages. You could use some blank pages. You do a travel log. You could test out your highlighters, make sure everything's works the way you want it to. Now, this is cardstock back here, so you want to use these pages if you're going to have a tester page. A note regarding the type, and then again, that beautiful paste down liner. So this is a really awesome little addition if you just want to carry the Gospels with you, or maybe, you know, your church is doing a study of a particular book in the Gospels. You know, you could use it for that. It would be nice to journal through the Gospels since you have those margins, that nicer paper, and some, you know, the space to do it, take notes, highlight, etc. And this would fit really well in a bag or a purse. You know, if you want something simple to carry along for your lunch break, it's not like super expensive, you know, throw in your bag every day. You could, you know, read a chapter every day when you get to work or at lunch or whatever, you know, whenever you have the time. And it wouldn't take you super long to do, but it would be a good way to keep you in the Word consistently throughout the day. So again, this is the New King James Version, Spurgeon and the Gospels, and this is a new edition from Thomas Nelson.